Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Jeromeoh and HeadofState here on Metalopolis. HeadofState spawning at the 12 or 1 o'clock position of Metalopolis as the blue Protoss player. Meanwhile, Jeromeoh spawning as the red Zerg player over here at the almost 6:30 position over here on the map. So this game is already underway, and we'll try to figure out what exactly the strategies are in fact going to be. Now, I believe this is also taken from the Star Wars game, taking a look at the observers. Note PLU, do not know what that stands for. Perhaps just some judge watching the game trying to make sure that there's no lag issues or anything of that nature. Jeromeoh obviously gonna go ahead and open up with either a hatchery or a spawning pool, as anything else would be kind of silly. Jeromeoh moving out with that drone in order to do some scouting. Probe, for some reason, heading up this ramp momentarily. Perhaps he was expecting some sort of proxy hatchery. That would have been one of the strangest strategies I've ever seen in quite some time. HeadofState now getting that pylon on that lower ground. So his base will in fact be very easy to defend. As long as he's able to perhaps try to do some sort of forge expansion, and I think HeadofState may in fact try to do that. Try to put a gateway here and perhaps a forge over here, and then making it so that with the Nexus here, in order to really be able to come in, you need to run all the way around this ramp in order to really get into position. So no, going for a double gateway. So HeadofState not going for a forge expansion, going for a double gateway to produce mass zealots. Jeromeoh, however, it looked as though he was thinking about going for a fast hatchery, and after he saw that double gateway, smartly decided to put down that spawning pool a little bit earlier. Now with a mass zealots, I do expect to see perhaps some banelings. Banelings dealing a lot of splash damage against those zealots, as those zealots take bonus damage to light. I think it's what, 30 damage or 35, like 25 plus 5 or 25 plus 10. I think I'm getting my my numbers confused between the spine crawler and the baneling. So perhaps if there's a baneling, I will be able to tell. Single probe now trying to fight back against that one drone. Drone already down to 26 hit points, and may get zapped again as that drone with his own minerals able to still walk out maneuver that one probe. So very nice double back as that drone continuing to move. Taking a look back on this lower ground, double chrono boost, double zealots now being created, and for some reason that one zealot allowed that drone to just push through. Did Jeromeoh perhaps return back by clicking on a single mineral patch and he was able to pass through? Zealot not able to outrun Daisy the drone, as that Daisy the drone's hovering off that ground just a little bit, and no friction to really stop her. Zealot trying to do some chasing, but not really going to work, as now we have, what, 4 Zerglings trying to take out Peppy. Peppy, however, able to pass through that one drone, and now we're going to have 6 Zerglings on this high ground. 1 Zealot down over here still, and a secondary Zealot coming into play. A Queen now coming over in order to lend a claw in order to take down some of those units. 2 Zealots perhaps going to try to come up that ramp, but with those Zerglings and that Queen in position, should be enough to really push back any attacks. We do in fact have Roaches in play, as well as a 3rd Zealot now coming in. So that third, is that Queen going to be able to get in a couple of attacks? Yeah, going to able to get in a couple of attacks, and now we have a little bit of a surround. That Queen is still fighting back fairly well. That Queen needs to pull back though, getting very, very low on hit points, down to 3, and the Zealots able to deal that first blow, preventing that Queen from being able to spawn any additional larvae. Roaches now, or that single Roach trying to do a little bit of kiting, trying to fight back against those, and we'll be able to micro down that one Zealot. Zealot down to 8 hit points. And know that without that creep down, able to get it down as that Zealot was forced to double back around off of that ramp. So Roaches once again doing a little bit of engagement. Jeromeoh now getting a hatchery up. Also, there is in fact a HeadofState getting a Nexus and a Forge out, so it is going to be a fast expansion with those 2 photon cannons in position and a 3rd photon cannon there. That one pylon is powering 3 cannons, so I'm assuming that that's going to be the weak point of the Protoss army. However, those Roaches with only a range of 3 will not be able to focus down that pylon very easily, and now that those Roaches are going to be forced to pull to the back. More Roaches coming in, so Jeromeoh deciding to mass Roaches and not get any Banelings, as I originally suspected. I take it back. Baneling that's now coming down for Jeromeoh, so Jeromeoh finally teching the Banelings in order to try to take down this front door. Those Banelings also dealing a significant amount of damage to structures. That Forge, no upgrade yet. And also, one of the things that I wanted to mention is that in the new patch, Roaches no longer have a base armor of 2, they only have a base armor of 1. So we'll see how that really is going to work out. Single photon cannon doing a little bit of a hit. Down goes that zealot once again. So those roaches able to continue to fight back. Perhaps this one forge, is it? No, I think that one photon cannon is actually within range to try to, if any units try to take down that forge. Yep, just right there with that range of 7, just a little bit of room. Plus, a forge is the same size as the gateway, so this is similar to the front door that Liquid Nazgul does on Blistering Sands in order to try to push units back. And now Banelings being morphed over here, so we have Zerglings and Banelings being morphed, and this is going to be a definite surprise for Head of State. Those Banelings taking a fair amount of time. What is the building time? 10 or 20 units of time in order to build them, and now this Baneling going to go ahead and hatch. That Baneling dealing 20 plus 15 damage against light units, so that is a very, very large amount of damage. Perhaps he will be able to take down some of these Banelings, also having 30 hit points, so perhaps that's one of the reasons why Ghosts have that snipe ability, to be able to snipe down a Baneling before it gets within range. Banelings are not armored, are not light, so they're one of the few units that do not take bonus damage from anything. So only the standard damage. Oh, taking down a lot of those zealots, and those probes trying to pull back away, almost able to take down one of those photon cannons as well. Down goes that photon cannon. Baneling's trying to push through. Perhaps is going to be able to take down those photon cannons, and down it goes. So Head of State in a lot of trouble right now at this stage in the game, as those photon cannons are getting taken down fairly quickly. There's now, what, 6 roaches left, and more stalkers now coming into position. Those stalkers accidentally started shooting their own Cybernetics Core for a little bit of time, and what, that one with those low hit point stalkers trying to pull back away. Those stalkers should be able to outrange and out micro against those roaches, but those roaches once again pulling back away. A single sentry being built on the wrong side of the gateway, and now stuck, so unable to get into this position, trying to hide right behind that photon cannon. More Banelings once again being morphed in, so Jeromeoh using those Banelings to really pressure this front door. There is now an Immortal, so that Immortal will in fact be able to take down those roaches fairly easily, only needing 3 shots to take down a roach. But those Banelings, however, are going to be very, very dangerous towards that one Immortal once those shields are in fact gone, taking a lot of that splash damage as well. That Sentry, light, mechanical, and psionic, just wanted to make a mental note that it was also a light unit as well. So the 2 Banelings will almost destroy a single Sentry as well. Stalkers trying to take down that one that one Baneling. Baneling getting zapped down by the focus fire of that Stalker. And now a photon cannon once again being warped in. Taking a look at the income, we have, what, 25 harvesters for Head of State against 15 for Jeromeoh. That is very, very low in terms of harvesters. And now, once again, did I miss something? Did he lose a lot of units? I'm not quite sure at this stage. I may have missed something on the minimap. My apologies if that in fact was the case. I do not see how any units could have gotten over there. Perhaps a warp prism was able to perhaps drop some units in that base. 15 workers just seems very low. Jeromeoh now sitting with that creep tumor, and now we have a couple of Zerglings being waiting on that front door. So Jeromeoh gonna go ahead and regather the troops and perhaps try to push out once more. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Jeromeoh and Head of State here on Metalopolis.